Have you ever felt trapped, yet free? Have you ever felt still while moving? Have you ever felt like you were going backward while moving forward? Have you ever felt worse while getting better? Have you ever felt alone while being surrounded? If your answer is yes to any or all of these, let me ask you a follow-up question. Have you ever felt that you deserved it? The Spectacular Spider-Man is my favorite version of the webhead for many reasons. And just the other day I was watching the series yet again, enjoying every second as always. But then something happened. Despite watching it before, when I got to a part where Peter is battling the symbiote after realizing that it's ruining his life, I started to get emotional. I started actually tearing up. But why? Why this time? I've watched this over and over and over and never found myself struggling to watch it. And then I remembered what symbiote represents. Addiction. And then as I laid there in my bed pouring tears, a certain character from a certain anime popped in my head, and I remembered something that she once said, and remembering it just made me cry even more that night. At the beginning when I asked you those questions, you might have answered yes, which means I'm willing to bet you might have battled or are still battling with some kind of unhealthy addiction. And if you answered the follow-up question with a no, that's great. I'm glad you've never felt that you deserve to feel that way. Really, I am. In fact, I envy you. But if you answered with a yes, then not only do I think you have a bad addiction, but I'm also willing to bet that you have I hate how powerful depression has become for me and for others. For the whole world, because depression can affect anyone, even the people who don't have it but know and care about someone who does. But what I hate the most about depression is how it can make you feel worthless. The boy you see before you is named Shinji. He's from a very popular anime franchise by the name of Neon Genesis Evangelion. You might have seen it. It wasn't long ago that I finally watched the original series thanks to a close friend of mine. By the time I was done and I was in love with the show, the characters, the story, the themes, the bizarreness of it all. And then, that same friend convinced me to watch the Rebuild series, a 4-part retelling of the story, only better. And it was in the Rebuild series where I truly broke down, and it was all from one line. Just one line spoken from Rei to Shinji. For context, Shinji has just failed the human race. He was given a task he was not ready for, but took it nonetheless, and in the heat of the moment, he messed up. He did a selfish act, and now Shinji is living with the consequences. Shinji is living with his failure, and he's always kind of felt like a failure. Never having his mom, his dad always giving him the cold shoulder. He and everybody else knows of his failures. He shouldn't be going through all of this, and he falls into a deep depression because of it. He's just not able to overcome his guilt, and he tries to isolate himself from the people he cares about solely because he feels unworthy to be around anyone. And yet the others still talk to him. Characters like Asuka can be very blunt when it comes to that stuff and very hard on him, but that's just who she is. She means well. And there are other characters as well that really want what's best for Shinji. They still care about him. But Shinji himself, he just can't. Or rather, he feels like he shouldn't. Rei confronts Shinji and tries to get him to speak, to say what's on his mind. And it's here where I broke.
I'm not protecting anything. Actually, I destroyed everything. I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want anyone to come here. I just want to be left alone. Why is everyone so kind to me?
It's because we like you.
It only took me hearing it one time to never forget those words. Even the look on Shinji's face made me feel something so painful and yet so relieving. Despite Shinji's failures, there are still people who are kind to him simply for the fact that they like him. How many times have all of us messed up, fallen short, or let somebody down, let ourselves down? How many times have our choices hurt other people? How many times have our choices hurt ourselves? The constant wave of thoughts crashing into our minds telling us we don't deserve happiness, we don't deserve love, we don't deserve to live, all because of our mistakes, all because of our... I can't tell you how many times I gave into my addiction, and how every time I did, it was like I was losing myself. I was losing sight of the person I wanted to be, and still want to be. I couldn't even look at my own reflection because of the shame and guilt. I couldn't look at my friends because I felt if they knew about my addiction, they wouldn't want to be around me anymore. I couldn't look my own family members in the eye, my brothers, my sister, my grandma, my nieces, my sister-in-law, my mom, my dad. I have the best parents that I could ever ask for. They've done so much and continue to do so much for me. So for me to develop the addiction that I have and I still battle with, it felt like I was slapping my parents in the face. Like I threw all their hard work and wisdom in the garbage. Like I was given all this love and I spat on it. When we feel alone, many of us will find comfort in talking to God, hoping He's listening, thinking He's the only one left who will accept us. But for me, I felt like I had no business asking for forgiveness from God. How could I? I keep messing up. I keep letting myself down. I keep letting other people down, people that I care about, people that I love. But why should anyone forgive me for my constant mistakes? Why should anyone care about me? And even after confessing my addiction to my friends and family, why are they still kind to me?
It's because we like you.
I used to question why so many people still like me, or even love me. But I thought about it and realized that I've not only been in Shinji's position, but I've also been in Rei's. I've had people close to me feel the same way I have. And they very well may be asking the same question, why are people so kind to me? And I would tell them the same thing, it's because we like you. And if you were to ask me, why do you like me? Despite everything, why? To be honest, I just do. And you know, I think that's a good enough reason. Isn't it hard to explain why you like someone sometimes? You just can't put it in words, though you might try. I think that's happened to most of us, if not all of us, and yet we still know our feelings to be true. And it's because we understand each other better than we might think that we need each other. Depression is powerful. In fact, I'd say it's unbeatable if you take it on all by yourself. There are strength in numbers, and depression knows that. That's why we will often get tricked into thinking we're alone. People are just out to get us, or they don't really care. Depression feeds on that, like a symbiote. It's moments like these where fictional characters become all too real, and it can be tough to watch, but also life-changing and necessary. Whether by showing us or by telling us, there are people there in the real world and people there in the world of fiction that can remind us why our lives are worth something. Why we are not worthless, but rather we are worth giving and receiving love, even at our lowest. Because even when we let people down, even when we let ourselves down, even when it seems that you're alone, you're not. You just aren't looking hard enough. Trust me. And don't push people away. Even if you feel you don't deserve the kindness of the people who care about you, remember why those people care.
It's because we like you.